I was just learning the scissor and I came across this brain hack that could save you tons of time and frustration when learning new balisong tricks. And I knew I had to share it with you. Hey everyone, welcome back. So the next video I was planning on posting was going to be a tutorial for the combo you're watching now, but that should end up being the one after this one. I came across this idea and I knew I had to share it with you. Okay, so what is that brain hack that I was referring to earlier? It's something that I've been calling mental cueing. So mental cueing is something that it's helpful when you're learning a new trick, specifically a new trick that is a variation of one that you already know, or maybe the trick has the same exact or very similar steps to another trick that you know. Now, mental cueing itself is when you do something with your hands that send a signal to your brain that say, I'm not doing this trick that I already know and have the muscle memory for. Instead, I'm doing this trick that I am learning. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me tell you a little story to explain. A while ago, I had attempted to learn the scissor, but I gave up on it pretty quick. Yesterday, though, I was determined to get it down. So I went to Big Flip's video and I started to learn it. Now, Big Flip's tutorial was very helpful. And if you're trying to learn the scissor, I definitely recommend that you check it out. But I actually came across another video today, a tutorial on the same trick by Ballybug, and he gave a really good tip. Now the tip Ballybug gave, which is about how to throw the scissor, is actually a category of tips, and that is mental cueing. Now I'll break down what I mean by that, by explaining what Ballybug was saying. It was actually a tip that kind of counteracted something that Big Flips did mention. What Big Flip said was think about throwing it like a normal aerial. But the tip that Ballybug gave was you want to think about it throwing it like back. Not just like, I guess how you normally would throw it, but throwing it kind of back. Wrong finger, but kind of like that. Instead of just thinking, oh, I'm doing a basic aerial, but then at the last second, you have to remember and think about the way to catch the scissor. By initiating the throw with a different way, by throwing it in that big circle, your brain is now just thinking, I'm just doing a scissor. And at least for me, I found that to be very helpful. Quick side note, something I just realized while editing this. With mental cueing, it's always something that you can think of before you do the trick, which then as you go to do the trick, your mind naturally can just focus on performing it as opposed to mid-trick having to remind yourself to do something a little bit different. Like when you're throwing the scissor, before I throw it, I remember, okay, I'm going to throw it in that backward circle motion, and then I attempt the trick. As opposed to before, what I was doing is I would throw it, and then while it was in the air, think, okay, wait a little bit longer than I normally do, and then try and catch it. And so that's actually a big tip about these mental cues, is you just think it before you approach the trick, and it allows you to do it a lot smoother. Now, I've actually talked about mental cueing before with my tutorial for that trick. Where this comes into play is you're basically just doing the standard open, which we all know and have done so many times, that it's easy to let the muscle memory just take over. But I found that it's helpful when you rotate the wrist this way, which you don't even need to rotate it that much. It distinguishes in my brain the two tricks, and it allows my muscle memory to really kick in when doing that trick. Please let me know in the comments if mental cueing is something that you've stumbled on or something that you've been, I guess, doing intentionally. Like I said, you might have been doing it because the tutorial was telling you to do a trick a different way, but you didn't realize you were doing it. Also, if you do make tutorials, that could be something to consider, especially if you're doing a trick variation, is try and think of a way to mental cue this trick to differentiate it from the existing trick. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you want to check out the tutorial for this combo when it's up, you can click here.